First of all, I just want to welcome you all here, and it's good to see a lot of you back because it makes my day when I see all of my old friends back. And as we've explained, we're doing something a little new this time. And if you're in a bad seat or you think you're in a bad seat, you can watch the demo table, the back of my head. You'll be watching everything that I'm doing in the pan on the top of the cooktop. And it's just our first annual tailgate show. And I guess if we keep getting people to join Ollie, maybe they'll give us Beaver Stadium next year and we can fill that place up. How would that be? And first of all, I need to thank my assistant, Jeannie, who's been with me for 20 years. And between the two of us, we have a full brain, okay? We think for each other, and that's how we go about our lives. And I was going to demo, we're using alternative heat sources, just like if you're at a tailgate. All of this stuff is if you're outside cooking. We're not using our fancy ovens or our $200,000 RVs. This is the normal way you can cook this food for tailgate. And I had a little tabletop portable gas grill, but my wonderful husband, Smokin' Joe out there, decided to take the day off, and he's on the grill, and he's going to be blackening flank steaks, and he's got ribs on that have been on since 10 o'clock this morning for y'all. So we're really having a fantastic tailgate today. I guess the first thing I want to say is what we think of in terms of tailgate. I guess for me it's kind of exciting, but it can be stressful if you're hosting the tailgate. It can be confusing if you're told to bring something to tailgate and you don't have any ideas what you want to bring. And I weeded out about 1 million things. Jeannie and I had a lot of menus, a lot of ideas. I talked to my kids. One said it should be a grilling show. The other one said it's got to be good food fast. And I went through so many things, and I decided to narrow it down to 3 menus that revolve around Penn State's best victories. So we've got 3 tailgate menus, one from Louisiana, New Orleans, which we're going to do the hallmark jambalaya tailgate recipe. The second one is going to be from the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, and we're going to do white chicken chili burritos. And the third one is the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, where we're going to make the famous Cobb salad. If you think of California, you got to have a salad. When the whole menu is done, and at the end, when the buffet line is out, you're going to notice that there's a common thread that's running through all of these, and it's the Mexican influence in the spices, the French influence, the Tex-Mex. It's all Southern California. I guess I said that a little bit the wrong way, but all of these tailgates are going to go really well together. You're going to have a common thread running through them. You're going to be able to mix and match them. You're going to have beverages. You're going to have appetizers. You're going to get a casserole made from seafood. You're going to have chicken fork sandwich. You're going to have salads. I hope you're going to have a lot of ideas. And we had a lot of fun doing it. It's been a really busy week, so now we got to get started. And I'm using these little portable gas grills, okay? Easy, 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 easy. They run about $60, and out of each butane canister, you get about an hour's worth of cooking. And I'm going to start by sauteing my shrimp and my scallops. And we're going to make Joe Pa's Easy Seafood Jambalaya. Now, Joe Pa is my husband because our grandson David calls him Joe Pa. So that's how it got to be Joe Pa's Easy Seafood Jambalaya. And one afternoon, right after we got Joe the big grill, we got to get this high. He was out back, and I was planning to make seafood jambalaya, my big pot of it, my vat of it. And he took the side burner of the grill and took all of my ingredients. And what he ended up doing was he went into the pantry and he picked a Spanish rice mix, which absolutely made it so much easier to make. So we're going to do it with the Spanish rice mix. And this is going to take a little bit of saute time here. So we're just going to let these. Anybody have any questions? I'll take them while I'm.
I was wondering, do you use the beef day scallops, so they better than sea?
Well, it depends. Because this is tailgate, and what I want is everything to kind of be bite-sized food. So I'm using the little ones. I'm using small shrimp and small scallops. Plus, that means that everybody, when you taste the jambalaya, you're all going to get a bite of everything in there. You're going to get a shrimp and a scallop. You put the big ones in, and what happens is somebody's going to say, well, geez, I got a scallop, and somebody's going to say, well, I guess I missed one.
I just wondered, you could, I'm sure.
Well, now that we've got this all, it's heating up, so this will go pretty fast now. Jeannie, you want to come in and mix these a little bit? Just keep them tossed until they turn a little pink. And the first menu, what we're doing here is we're talking about, I went Cajun. And everybody sometimes says, oh, Cajun, that must be really spicy. The Creole is less spicy. And that's actually not true. The difference between Cajun and Creole is very small. They use the same amount of spices. All of their food revolves around their famous Holy Trinity, which is your onions, your green peppers, and your celery, which is different than mirepoix in France, which is onion, celery, and carrots. But there's so much French influence in Louisiana that sometimes you'll see things made with a mirepoix. So the difference between Cajun and Creole is actually this. The Creole food is the city food, or slightly more sophisticated. They use all the same spices, but they use butter, flour, eggs, and lots of cream in their dishes, and the same spices. The Cajun people use the same spices, but they're using, instead of the flour and the cream as their thickening agents, they're using something called filet powder, which is dried sassafras. And John Foltz, who wrote the Encyclopedia of Cajun Creole Cookery, gave me this filet powder himself to use. And that's it. What it does is it plumps up when it cooks. And the other ingredient the Cajuns use is okra, because it thickens. So you're not going to see as much cream and butter and flour in Cajun cookery as you would in Creole. And that's basically the only difference. So how are we doing there? They're pink, they're firming up.
Wonderful.
And I'm all for, making the use of every juice and every flavor. So when these are just slightly undercooked, which is exactly where Verna, we call each other Verna. I can't call her Jeannie. Should I tell the Verna story? Everybody want to know why we call each other Verna? Well, there's actually 4 of us. And we've got cooking Verna, cleaning Verna, haircutting Verna, and sewing Verna. Sewing Verna makes my chef coats. I cook. Jeannie's my assistant. Loretta does our hair. So when we all go out together, or if we make a mistake, like whatever happens, Verna did it, and it's nobody's fault. So we all answer to the name Verna. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this out, and I'm putting it in a big bowl because I want to leave all these wonderful seafood juices in here, okay? And we're going to use those. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow, but I don't think you're in a big hurry here. And if I talk too fast, or if you're not following me, or I tell a story that is confusing, reel me back in, ask the question. It's okay. Now we're going to add our vegetables. And don't tell anybody, but this is delicious even if it's not for Tailgate. And it's a fantastic casserole. You can feed it right out of this pot. Okay. I think we got them all. Only one straggler here. We're going to add our onions. And there's actually some minced garlic in there too. And our celery. And our green bell peppers, which is the classic Holy Trinity. But I really like to have a little bit of color, so I add the red peppers as well, which is the unholy Trinity. And we're going to just steam these through, which is not going to take 5-6 minutes. Is everybody okay so far? What's that? Question? Oh, good. Oh, it's going to smell real good by the end of the afternoon. By 4 o'clock, you're all going to be really happy, I think. So those are just going to saute. Jeannie, you want to stir? So what? Go ahead.
Excuse me, I think to make note here, I think it's so wonderful to pre-prep everything, I mean, in your own kitchen, and it ready to go, everything's lined up, and before you know it, you have your dinner put together.
That's the other, those of you who have taken my classes know that I don't like to do a stand and stir. I'd rather give you more recipes and more ideas. I don't think you came here to watch me chop an onion or chop a green pepper. Would you rather see me cook a second dish and assume that you know how to chop the onion and the green pepper? So we do a lot of pre-prep, really a lot. We go to a lot of trouble to do that. And that's why we fit all this stuff in. Okay, so the next thing, keep that going. They got to steam. That'll take a few minutes. I started out with a cup of wine, okay? And I put a cup of wine in this container. And I drained, because we're using the juice, I drained 4 cans of stewed tomatoes. But you can see we still have some juice in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain a little bit more. My hands are very clean, trust me. Drain a little more juice. We're even using the juice from our tomatoes. I'm not wasting anything in here. Okay. How are we doing there? It's the height of the sweet corn season. It's coming in faster than we can get it. And I adore it. And one of the things I'm doing to my jambalaya is we're going to add some shaved corn to it at the end. And in our Tempe tailgate, we're going to be having double corn muffins and a baked corn souffle. And we're also going to turn our Cobb salad into a corn on the cob salad. So when I buy sweet corn and it's in season, if I need 6 cobs, I buy 12. And what I do is I shave it, and I just keep it in the refrigerator. You can freeze it, but it doesn't last that long in my personal kitchen. So let's go here. Does everybody know how to shave corn? Well, it's kind of pretty easy. One of the things, and if you watch the monitor, you should be able to see me do this. Verna, you got to move. We're learning here all together as a group. I like to cut the woody ends off before I boil it. But a trick that I did learn watching somebody on television is if you don't cut the skinny part off, and you want to shave a whole pile of corn, like 3 dozen, pop the skinny end into a bunt pan. And when you shave down, all the corn just falls right into the bunt pan. It uses it as like a moat or a trough, and it just catches all the corn. And that really does work well. I've done it. And I'm just going to show you quick and easy. You could start at either end as long as you have a flat surface. And I just run a sharp knife. And you see what you get in these? You're getting single kernels. You're getting chunks. You're getting lumps. And that's exactly what you want, because this is what's going to make everything really juicy and wonderful, and you're going to get that nice pop from the fresh sweet corn. So we're going to add about 3 cups, and that's going to be about 3 cobs of corn. You're going to get probably about a cup and a half from every cob, and that's as easy as shaving corn. And throw it in anything. Throw it in soups, stews, casseroles. Okay, I think those are looking good, huh?
Did you cook that corn?
Oh, yes. Oh, great question. Duh. Yes, the corn must be cooked. It does say that in your recipe. And that's why I said when I buy 6, I cook 12. And the recipe, there's a recipe there for properly cooking corn. And it's the way my grandmother taught me how to do it, and it works perfectly. You fill your pot with water. And when the water comes to a boil, you drop your corn in, and when the water comes back to a boil, 5 minutes, no longer. You're overcooking it. In 5 minutes, you're going to have perfect sweet corn. And we, of course, did that in advance. Thank you for asking that question, because we didn't have time to boil the water for the sweet corn. Now, what I'm doing is I've got my seafood, and I've got my wonderful vegetables coming out of this pan.
Do you have a favorite white wine that you use for your cooking?
Jeannie, what do you drink? It should be a little sweet. I'm going to turn this down. Now I'm going to give these a little bit of a stir because, again, I want to get all of these flavors of the vegetables and the seafood. Oh, does this look wonderful? Oh, it smells great. Trust me. It is just beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just melt a stick of butter because now we need a little bit. As you can see, the pan is kind of dried out. So we need a little bit of fat. If you wanted to just use an olive oil or something else, you could. We're going to melt that down. And we're going to use my Spanish rice mix. Doesn't get any better than this. Don't follow the directions on the box because I've given my own directions and proportions to this. 2 boxes. Everybody okay so far? Sorry for it's being quiet. Maybe I should have opened the boxes before we started.
So prepare the rice running according to package directions.
Well, that's pretty much what we're doing. You're melting the butter. You're doing all of that, except we're going to be adding the wine and the tomatoes. We're going to be adding some other things. So the basic directions to that are exactly that. Very good. Very, very good. So according to package directions, you put these things in, and you really do have to watch this, watch it carefully, because this will go from brown to burned pretty fast. And we just want to stir this around. So what rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat, you're just going to brown. It's rice and vermicelli, which is a little bit of a pasta. And this is just going to brown. Turn it up a little. And you'll see what that's going to do. Actually, I want to see what it's going to do. That looks pretty good. Oh, yeah. I can get into that. Okay, getting a nice, can you see that it's starting around the sides here to get a little bit brown?
You added more oil to that pan.
I added butter.
Butter.
Yeah, because it does dry out. Now, this is right about the part where it's getting golden brown, and I really don't want it to get much browner because if I wait another 30 seconds, this is going to get black. Now, here's the part, though. Here's the part. Be careful with this. Watch yourselves, because you're going to get a lot of steam coming up out of here. It's going to go. You don't want to have your head over the stove when you do that. Going to add our stewed tomatoes. And they're perfect because they're already adding more onion and celery and green pepper, which is the Holy Trinity. I'm adding the optional red pepper flakes. And this is going to simmer for, Jeannie, I have a lid over there if you'll get it. We're going to get this back to a simmer. We could simmer it without the lid, I suppose. What do you think? That way the camera can. But can you come here and keep it stirring while we work on our croutons? Seasoning packets, Mel. Let me get the seasoning. Seasoning packets. Can't forget those.
I'm doing this at home at this point. Could I put it in the oven?
You probably could, but you're going to have to maintain a simmer, almost like that poaching thing from the poaching class. As long as your liquid is moving, you could do it. And I'm going to guess, geez, that's a good question. I'm going to guess you're going to need at least 325 degree oven to do that. But you could. I've never tried it, but there isn't. Or a baked rice casserole, yeah. Okay, next were our crunchy Cajun croutons. And I think some of you saw we did croutons in one of the classes, which I called Never Buy Croutons, because there isn't any reason to buy croutons when you have some really good bread. I'm using salted butter for this. I use unsalted butter for baking. Unless one of my recipes says unsalted butter, I'm using salted butter. So we're going to melt 2 sticks, but this is going to make a lot of croutons. Now I'm going to add like a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning to my melted butter, okay? But I am usually a McCormick spice brand person because I like McCormick spice brands because they are the ones that guarantee that all their spices are made in peanut and wheat-free environments. So if somebody has allergies, you really don't have to worry about it. But their Cajun seasoning pales in comparison to the flavor of this Tones that I've been buying out at Sam's Club. This is really wonderful Cajun seasoning. Okay, turn it down. Now you can see what's happening here. We got that beautiful golden color. And we're just going to add our baguette that I've cubed. It's a pound of bread. Just one of these ordinary baguettes. And in 6 to 8 minutes, we're going to have crunchy Cajun croutons. And they said it couldn't be done.
We're getting hungry now.
Now, the trick to this is you really do have to keep it moving, though. You've got to get all of your, like a salad here, get your croutons all covered and coated in the butter and the spice. Is that thickening up there, Jeannie?
It is, yeah. I don't know if you want to turn that down a bit,
Yep.
or is the heat okay?
No, we want to simmer it nice and gentle. We'll know when it's time to add the seafood. Now we just have to keep these moving. So what's on your first tailgate menu? Anybody? Well, when we went to New Orleans, my husband and I was married to him about 2.5 years. And we went with my brother-in-law, with Joe's brother-in-law and his wife. And we were all young. I was like 24 years old. And we didn't go just for the game and for 2 days. We took a week off. We did it for our vacation. We ate in every Galatoire's, Brennan's, Commander's Palace. We ate our way up and down Bourbon Street. And one of the things we did, though, we started every morning with Bloody Marys. Well, it got so bad at the we stayed at the Fontaine. No, it wasn't the Fontainebleau. It was another F word. The Fairmont. And it was the home of the Zazarak cocktail. But we were there so long that the bartender would literally, the 4 of us would come down, and every morning he would have 8 Bloody Marys sitting on the bar before we even headed out onto Bourbon Street is how we did it. But one of the things, our Toastmaster at our tailgate group, Stan Cook, had a fantastic Bloody Mary recipe. In fact, it was the best Bloody Mary I ever had, and I'm giving you that recipe. But one of the changes we made to it was they put, in Louisiana, lime juice instead of lemon juice. And it was so good. We brought the recipe back. We asked Stan Cook's permission to change his recipe. He totally agreed. He made it official at the next tailgate that we now put lime juice in our Bloody Marys. And we did make 2 pictures of them back here for you to try if you like. There is vodka in them. If you wanted to make a Virgin Mary, what you would do is you just have to, the 12 ounces of vodka, put extra tomato juice in. Or if you want to make it sparkling, throw some club soda in. And that makes it a really nice drink, too. And these are starting to get nice and crispy brown. How are you doing over there?
Cleaning up nicely.
Okay, we're going to shut it down just a little bit more. Now we want it to just simmer nice and slow. It's going to get real good. Has anybody here been to Louisiana? All right. Did the game? I left there and I thought that is one of the few cities I will actually say I want to go back. You couldn't get enough of it.
I know I had fun at that game.
What'd you do at that game? Oh. Well, we have to be careful here. I would love to teach beignets, but taking that deep fryer up to Beaver Stadium probably just wouldn't do it. Okay, these are just about finished. Oh, I think those are looking real good. They're going to get dry. You're going to see just a couple, you're going to get brown bits on the bottom of the pan. I don't know if we can get, how you're just going to see there's a little bit of nibbles down there in the bottom. And in just a moment or two, what I do with the next is I don't take them out of this pan. I take the pan off the stove and I let them sit for 10 minutes, a half hour, because they're going to continue to cook and they're going to continue to get crunchy from from the steam in the bottom of the pan. So I'm about done with this. How are you doing over there? Yum. Okay. How's the smoking out there going, Smoking Joe? Okay. I think every time I say I want to say I'm done with these, I want to say I want to just do a little bit more. Okay, Shirley, what do you think? Here, pass a few to the front row there and see what they're. Oh, these bottom ones are nice now. What do you say? Hit the heat. Okay. Jeannie, if you'll take this. Go ahead. You want one more?
The bread really makes a difference, too.
I think it does. It really does. And that's just a nice French baguette. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I just took my regular crouton recipe. Now it's time to add the seafood to this, okay? I just took my regular crouton recipe, which is a tablespoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of, I like to add a little bit of salt, but you can go crazy with it. And my only thing was, if you want to make the Cajun ones, I just like this spice mix better. I really do. Anything, you go anywhere to just complement whatever you're serving. Or what, crouton is it means little crust of bread, and it was a French word that they literally, it was to serve with wine or drinks. But it's meant to garnish soups and salads and stews. It's not just a crunchy to put on a salad the way we do it. And if you'll notice, those are still a little chewy because that's the true French crouton, so that you still have just a little bit of texture in that. The ones that just kind of fly out of your mouth, they're rock hard. That's kind of a, okay, here goes the word, a bastardization of the French crouton. And we're just going to add all of this wonderful seafood. Okay, Jeannie? And now I need to get, oh, it's not too pretty. Oh, it's too pretty, but what's that song? It's too sexy for, I'm too sexy for. But you will make friends with this. And what we're going to do next is we're going to finish simmering this. I just have to get it stirred, folks. How's my? I'm left-handed, and I just have to go this way right now. Us lefties have to go in reverse engineering sometimes. Oh, is that looking good? Well, it fills a 4-quart casserole. It fills a big, and if you actually wanted to, you could probably get it almost to fill 2 9x13s if you really wanted to stretch it. Yeah. But see, in Louisiana, what they would do is they'd serve it right out of this pot. Like if you wanted to do this on a stovetop at Tailgate, you don't even have to take a chafing dish of it, to put it in a chafing dish. You would just give everybody a nice little bowl, a styrofoam bowl, and a spoon. And that's the other thing I want to say about tailgating when I'm planning tailgate menus. I really like to make sure that whatever people are eating require no more than one utensil, either a spoon or a fork. And since you don't eat with a knife, I like to avoid knives altogether at the Tailgate group because it's really hard for people to find a place to sit things down. So everything we're having here today is fork food, with the exception, well, you can eat this with, well, you'll eat it with a fork, I'm sure. And I'm going to, I think we're done. Jeannie, if you'll bring me the lid. And I'll tell you what I want to do. Since I'm bragging about this, I might as well just, I'm going to taste my rice. I keep picking on.
I'm not proficient.
Okay, who would like to have a taste?
I won't be here for the tasting.
Well, then you may as well have a tasting.
It's wonderful.
And this is our shaved corn, and you can only know that this is going to make it all the better. And you see all these beautiful chunks. You see this? Do you, like, I'm the one who wants the portion of jambalaya with that chunk of corn in there. The other thing, this is a wonderful, this is a holiday meal if you want to serve it at a holiday with just a salad. And you don't have to serve it with the croutons, but the croutons are kind of funny because I used to make the croutons for my kids to snack on whenever I served this because I wanted something crunchy. And before I knew it, my kids were throwing them in. They were like on top. They would eat my jambalaya if they had a bunch of, it's kind of like giving kids potato chips. So it was easier for them to eat it. Okay, Jeannie, I think we're done.